Hello, my friends. Happy Friday. Welcome to episode 199 of Why Did I Buy This? I started this series a while ago to be able to help crafters find unique ways to use products that they already have in their collections, but it's a great series for those of you who are wondering what you need to complement what you have, or if you're getting started, what you need to just be successful with paper crafting. My name is Lindsay Mann. I'm from Edmonton, Alberta, Canada. I have been a Stampin Up demonstrator for over 22 years. I love to craft and I love sharing ideas with you. So welcome. A few things to pay attention to. Our new mini catalog just started, January 7th. So we have all new product for you to play with. If you go into my online store and you click on new, you'll be able to see that. Hi, happy Pool Party Friday, Sharon. So it's a great thing to be able to check out. We're starting to work through it in this series, all the new products. And also in January and February, we are in the thick of our best sale of the year, which is Celebration. So during Celebration, you get to choose an exclusive product for every $75 Canadian that you order. If you order $150, you get to choose 2 products, or you get to choose a level 2 item, which is sort of the bigger valued items. So there's lots of different exclusive products to choose from. Make sure you go check those out as well. Now, I have some classes coming up January through March. You're going to want to check out my class schedule. My next one is coming up on January 27th. Yes, 7 to 9 p.m. It's called Sneak Peek and Paper Chic. We're going to be making 3 projects, super cute. And so if you're local and would like to come to that class, there are no to-go class kits for that class. That one's an in-person only. So make sure you sign up for that. The link you'll find pinned in my Facebook page here. Now, finally, I do have a paper share that is for this mini catalog. And the paper share includes all of the designer series papers that are in the mini catalog, as well as coordinating cardstock bases so that you have what you need out of the package to make cards. Now, I have been creating bonus content exclusive for the paper share. But it's available for all of you to see. So if you head over to my YouTube channel, you'll be able to see how I've been using my paper share. And if you need a paper share, you can also find the links to be able to sign up for that. You have until January 14th to be able to register for the paper share. And if you want also the embellishments that coordinate, there is an embellishment add-on. And that includes half packs of all the embellishments from the mini catalog. Now, this paper share is super affordable, given that you're getting 45 sheets of designer series paper and 45 cardstock bases. It's only $39. I know. And then if you want the add-on for the embellishments, that's another $59. If you live in Canada, I can ship anywhere in Canada, but only within Canada. And if you're local, you can just pick it up without having to pay extra for shipping. So that's all my to-do for now. And in the meantime, we have some new product to play with. As soon as I saw this bundle, I knew I had to have it. I love that it's a coloring set. So today we're going to go through 3 different kinds of coloring techniques. And then I wanted to show you a few different projects that we make with those coloring. So are you ready? As you tune in, please say hi. Let me know where you're tuning in from. Of course, if you're watching the replay, you can let me know that too. And the more you comment, the happier I feel, because I feel like I'm not talking to myself. So it's always nice to know that you're watching and you're enjoying what we're making. Okay, let's get started. I'll do the awkward transition because, you know, I am super high tech and I have all of the bells and whistles. Just kidding. I don't. I'm just a girl who likes to craft, who had to try to figure out how to get it online. So that's how it works. Okay, so one of the first bundles I'm going to share out of our new mini catalog is the Darling Dinos. And I just love this set because it's really fun to color. And also, you see this little symbol right here? That means that a $1 million achiever designed this set, and that $1 million achiever happens to be my pal Diana Gibbs, and she's an expert colorer. I think it didn't surprise me when I saw that her set included coloring. Now, it's really difficult to be a $1 million achiever, you know, less than 0.0001% become that. And so one of the things that they get to do when they reach that level is they get to help design a set in a theme that they enjoy. So you can see that this comes as a bundle. I've already dipped into all of my dies here, and there's like so many fun ways to build scenes with these. So, like I promised, we're going to make 3 different coloring techniques today. So the first kind of paper I'm bringing in is our Fluid 100 watercolor paper. This is extra thick cotton paper, and it works really well with water. And the type of coloring media I'm going to use is our watercolor pencils. Hi, Joan from Washington State. So these come in Stampin' Up colors, and they're really fun to color with. There's lots of different ways to use them. I've done a couple of different videos on watercolor pencils, but today we're going to do our first card using those. So with the watercolor paper, I'm going to bring in my StazOn ink. So this is a solvent-based ink, which means that it doesn't interact with water. I'm going to use a photopolymer stamp to ink it up, and sometimes that can be tricky because they are also, photopolymer is kind of one of those things that can interact with the solvent. But what I do to counteract that is I just use my all-purpose cleaner, my StazOn all-purpose cleaner, and I just remove that StazOn immediately so we don't have any trouble. So I just wipe that all off so we don't have any issues with our photopolymer sets. I've been doing this for a long, long time, never had any trouble, so don't panic about that. Okay, so here you can see I've got my really nice black dinosaur. And then I'm also going to bring in a little balloon. There we go. These are going to be die cut out, so I'm not concerned about the placement right now. Make sure I clean off the StazOn ink. Okay, that's done. Now with your StazOn ink pad, I've done videos on this too, so you can go back and look in my library, but just so you know, if you look carefully, it says here, do not discard. This little lid is very important to keep your ink pad from drying out. It's only because it's a solvent-based ink pad that you have to worry about that. None of our other ink pads, like Memento, is the same style. It doesn't have that because it is a water-based ink. So for solvent-based ink, make sure you have that little lid. And you're also going to want to make sure you have an ink refill. So when you buy one of these ink pads, I'd immediately buy the refill as well, because it's helpful to re-ink it every time you use it. Okay, so now I'm going to bring in my watercolor pencils. Now, watercolor pencils can be used as a pencil crayon, it can be used as a paint, and it can be used as a blend. So I love it because it's affordable and versatile, and it gives you lots of colors. There's 2 different kinds of watercolor pencil sets, and so you can just go in my online store or in the catalog and see those there. So the colors I've pulled out are Melon Mambo, Old Olive, and Basic Gray. And what we're going to do, I wanted to show you two different ways to use these pencil crayons. The first way, we're going to color directly on the image. So on the balloon, I'm going to start light, just like so. You'll see it's really soft. And then on this side, I'm going to go dark. So see how it is there. And I'm going to leave just a little bit of light space. So now with a blender pen, this is one of the very first tools I ever got as a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. It actually came in my demonstrator starter kit. Back in the day, our demonstrator starter kits were $315. I remember that very well. And we couldn't pick what we wanted in the kit. There were certain categories. I think there were 5 stamp sets, and you could pick stamps that were of the same or lesser value. There were blender pens. You couldn't switch those out. There were Stampin' Pastels. They were like a chalk. So this was a tool that it was mandated I get, and actually it's a really great tool to have, especially as a beginner stamper, because it's so versatile. They run clear until you pick up a pigment. So you can just see I had a little bit left over from something else I was working on, but clear until you pick up a pigment, and whatever pigment, whether it be an ink pad, a watercolor pencil, a marker, whatever you pick up, you can now color with that. And I love that you have the control of a marker, but it gives you the look of watercoloring. So now let's go back to our balloon. So you'll remember I put light to dark. So we're gonna start on the light side and move to the dark side, just like in Star Wars. So we're just gonna blend that. And now where we get to the darker pigment, we'll finish that off. And we can kind of drag it. So you can see it gives you that look of watercoloring. Now, let me just, forgive me if you've seen this before, but I just think it's such a great tip. I'm just coloring it off. So if you have dark to light, dark to light, if you start from the dark and then move to the light, it doesn't give you as much control as if you go light to dark. So it just allows you to have a little bit more ability to get that shadowing just right. Now I'm just coloring off, you can see on the edge of my paper here, to get that color running clear again. And now we're going to play with the dinosaurs. So these are double tipped pens, you'll notice. And sometimes if you're somebody who really, like it's only you who uses your blender pens, what you might consider is grouping your colors together. So having a red end and a yellow end and a blue end, they come in a set of 3, and a green end, just so that you don't mix colors. I share my blender pens all the time in classes, so I'm not fussed about that. But that's a way that you can organize things. Okay, we're gonna bring in my old olive, and I'm actually just going to create a palette on the watercolor paper, and we're gonna pull from that to be able to color. So with my blend, I'll pick that up, and then I'm gonna start where I want things to be darkest. So I'm thinking under his little leg there, we're gonna pull that down. And then same with this arm. Like so, and then bringing that down. Again, do you see what I mean about it being the style of watercolor paint? See how it just has that look? I love that. Okay, so we're pulling from our palette, and again, under the chin, it's going to be darker, so we can pull down from that, and then keep coloring all the way down. So because it's a little bit of a smaller image, it's just nice to have that control when you're coloring. Now, you've all heard me give this tip before. Maybe you're new here though, and so I'll give it again. When I'm working with a face that has eyes and it's an animal that has a snout, I like to bring the color on the eyebrow dark, and then I bring that down in between the eyes. And then I like to leave the eyes light, like that. And now we're going to color around the nose. So we want this to be darker on the bridge of the nose. So we're basically creating dimension where there isn't dimension in the image. So bringing it around, and we're thinking about light, you know, shining on this little guy's nose. So we're gonna leave some lighter spots, kind of like with watercoloring, how you will not like color it a solid image. It's not like a marker that way. So see how I've created that dimension on his face without there actually being dimension. And you can keep kind of adding to it. Because we're using watercolor paper here and not basic white, you have the ability to keep adding layers and then it not pilling the paper. And that's the beauty of watercolor paper, even though we're not technically watercoloring here. So again, I kind of want to bring the darker along the head here. How many of you love to color? I suppose if you're watching this video, you probably love to color, otherwise you probably turned it off. Okay, so we're just kind of bringing it down the back and down to the tail. But I just love how the watercolor pencil moves on the watercolor paper. Okay, so we can keep going with that, but now we're going to bring in the oh, I also brought in brown. So early espresso. So we're going to make a little palette here. And once again, I've just colored off to make sure I'm running clear. Yeah, Janet, it's so relaxing, right? Coloring is really fun. So now we're going to add little brown spines. I don't know what those are called. Oh, you have adult coloring books? Yeah, I guess I'm kind of making my own adult coloring books by coloring stamps, right? Okay, just like that. And then we're gonna color out. Hello, Anike. And then one of the things you can do, like on the spots, I want it to be darker. So I'm gonna use my pencil crayon and I'm just gonna color that in without blending it. So we're just gonna make it dark. And same with the little toes. Isn't this a cute image? Yeah, I know. Okay, like so. And then I have my Melon Mambo, because you know I love to give cheeks to things that have faces. So we're gonna add the cheek, and then also we're gonna add a little bit of a pink tummy. It's not a real, I mean, it's very cartoony, so he can have a cartoony tummy. And if we want, we can blend that right on the paper, just so you don't see the lines. Okay, we can also blend in the cheeks here. Cute. Okay, look at that. Lovely. Now, we're not done. Oh no. I've brought in my white craft ink refill. Now, even if you don't have a white craft ink pad, I'd highly recommend getting the refill because it just adds some really fun detail to coloring projects. I made a New Year's resolution this year to learn how to watercolor. Now, I know we use watercoloring a lot in card making, and it's more just like there's some techniques involved, but it's not like real painting. I'm trying to learn. I should qualify that. I'm trying to learn some techniques to watercolor paint. And one of the things that the instructor I'm following suggested was white paint. And I thought, oh, that's so funny because I use my white ink refill all the time in watercoloring. So what we're going to do, I have an old aqua painter here and I've just made a puddle with my ink refill. And we're going to just add little dots. I kind of want it more drippy. There we go. So we're going to add little dots to our our dinosaur. Kind of in like that. And then we'll have to set it aside to dry. But you can see we've made them really cute and fun. Okay. So let me go ahead and skip to the finished card. Nothing too crazy in the template on this one. But here what I've done is taken our dinosaur and I die cut it out. I die cut out the little balloon and then I stamped the rocks, some directly on the page and then some that I've die cut out so I can give some dimension there. And then in the background, I use the dots embossing folder to be able to create our little guy. So look at how cute he is. So love, love, love that. And again, you can see how I've done the face where I have really emphasized the eyebrows and then the nose to try to give that feeling of dimension with the dinosaur. Okay, so that is project number 1. Let's move on to another project. So this time, I'm bringing in my basic white. So I'm just using a scrap piece because again, we're going to cut that little guy out. So here I'm bringing in my memento and we will be using, where did my dinosaur go? Here we go, the long neck dinosaur. I used to teach dinosaur programs a million years ago. And the kids always loved the long neck dinosaurs. So this time we are bringing in blends. So I told you we're going to use 3 different kinds of coloring methods today. So this time I'm going to bring in light Calypso Coral, dark Calypso Coral, and my SU-1000. Now, if you're looking for the SU-1000, my pal Brenda and I, we tried looking for it in the catalog. It's not labeled that way. I think it's called Extra Light. So if you're looking for the Naturals collection, you'll see this one is the lightest one that they offer. So we're going to start by adding some cheeks because that's how I like to begin my little faces. And then we're going to start doing some coloring. Now, again, here we've got an eyebrow and a snout. So we're going to start with that emphasis on the eyebrow and the snout and kind of bringing it down like that. It's not going to be as obvious this way because of the style. And I'm actually going to color right over top of all the spots because we're going to go darker with those. So it's just a little more time convenient if you just go all the way down. Now with this image, we're going to cut off the tail. I know. Don't worry, he won't feel a thing. So I'm not going to be too fussy about what happens on the bottom half here. Now I'm going to bring in my dark Calypso Coral, and I'm going to use my pen end just because I want to have a little bit more control. So we're going to go into these spots here and make those darker. Like that. And again, not worrying about the tail. And then on the snout, we're going to go heavy. Kind of like that. Okay. And bring that down like so. Beautiful. And then we can bring back our SU1000 and just go over top of where the eye is. And we'll kind of use that as a blender. Nice. All right. Now, I wanted to point something out here. Do you see how I went out of the line? If you have that happen, and it's vital that you don't in your particular project, this one we're die cutting it out, so I'm not worried about it, but I'll just show you. Our Stampin Blends, the color lifter, can help correct those things. So usually what I'll do, oh, this one's very juicy. Did you see how that came out? It's basically just, I'm assuming it's plain alcohol, but it's going to work to remove that little blip outside of the line. So look at, gone. Easy. And if you were wanting to say add a little highlight spot on his leg, you could just do that same thing and see how it starts to lift the color off of the leg. So it's a way that you can add highlights to your project. Okay, so we're going to die cut this one out, and then I wanted to add in an egg. So now you can see why our little guy isn't going to need his tail, because he needs to fit inside the egg. So when I put him here, his tail sticks out, so we're just going to chop that off. All right, so I love a good spotted egg. It's like a thing for me. I don't know. I just think eggs should have spots on them. It's not an always thing in nature, but it just feels kind of fun. So I'm just going to put them on here for now, just so I don't get white all over my work surface. I'm going to bring back in my handy dandy. I always have this palette going because I love splatter. So I've got this little puddle of white ink refill plus some water. And now we're just going to take the brush and karate chop it. Just karate chop it, karate chop it. And now we have our egg that's ready to dry. So see, when we remove it from that surface, look how cute that is. I mean, seriously. I have a circle that I've cut out from the Stylish Shapes, and we are going to be building the scene on there. While this is drying, I'm going to bring in my pool party, and we're going to stamp roar means blank in dinosaur. Cute. And then I'm going to use my old olive, and it's going to say you're the best. So roar means you're the best in dinosaur. I mean, can you imagine? There's so many little people in my life that would love to get this card. Okay, we're going to move my memento out of the way, and let me just go ahead and skip to the finished project here. And I'll show you how cute it is in the little egg. I know. So you can see I added some of the grass. That's from the building part of the stamp set. And then the roar means you're the best in dinosaur. I've added in some embellishments. And he's wearing his egg as a little hat. So, so cute. Okay, so that's project number 2. Project number 3, we're going to pick yet again another coloring style. So let me just bring in my white. Sorry, I need to just cut the piece quick. All right. So here we have our little, is this called a stegosaurus? I think so. So we're going to do our memento again. And we're gonna stamp this little guy here. Thanks, Janet. Thanks, Tracy. And now I'm going to bring in, because we don't actually know the color of dinosaurs. In fact, there's a lot of research starting to happen where they feel like the dinosaurs that they show you in museums, they haven't given them enough fat and muscle. So they don't actually even know that dinosaurs look the way we think they do based on the skeleton. It's kind of interesting to think about. But we don't know the colors either because that stuff never fossilizes. So my dinosaur is going to be pink. So I'm bringing in my Stampin Write markers. And one of the reasons I wanted to show these is during celebration, so until the end of February, we have a promotion on our demonstrator starter kit. So in our demonstrator starter kit, you always get a great deal of $165 of product for just $135. There's no shipping and there's no GST charged on it. If you live in a province other than Alberta, there is provincial tax. Now, during the months of January and February, you can also choose 2 sets of 10 Stampin Write markers, so 2 color families. Or you can choose an additional $41, so you would get $206 of product. All of that is just $135. So it's a really, really great deal, and I wanted to show you why you might want these markers. Oh, Tracy, of course it's a Triceratops. That makes sense. The Stegosaurus, I think, have things on the background. Okay, so I've got 2 different pinks here. This one is the Bubble Bath, so it's one of the Subtles collection, and then this one is Pretty in Pink, so one of our in colors. I am going to start, and I'm going to kind of look at this the way that I look at my Stampin Blends. So I'm going to color, again, we're going to start on like heavy on the brow, and then we're going to bring this around to the nose. Okay, and then kind of in between the eyes. We're not going to go all, well, we could go all the way through, I think, yeah. So it creates that heavy texture, right? Beautiful. And then I'm going to go down onto my little guy or gal and color all the way around. We're just thinking about it like blends. With our blends, we usually put down a light layer. And so we're doing the same thing here. All the way around. Okay. I'm going darker on the horns. Antlers, horns, no, they'd be horns. So I'm not worried about going over top. Now with the markers, the first time you lay down color, you do kind of see the lines of the marker. But if you start playing with the marker, you can get away from that. So now Pretty in Pink is a darker pink. So we're going to kind of do the same thing that we do with our blends. So I'm going to go heavy on the snout, just kind of like that, and bring that around. Same thing here, we're going to go underneath. And you'll notice instead of doing lines, I'm sort of doing small circles. So we're going to go over top the back. That. Now, Stampin' Write markers are nice because, again, they're water-based, so you can go over StazOn with them, and which you can't with your blends. And they also just have a little bit finer tip, especially our new, like we came out with a new style a few years ago, so you can see the pen end is like all marker, and it's really, really wonderful to work with. So I'm kind of going over top like that. Beautiful. And now I'm going to go back in with my Pretty in Pink, and we're going to go over top of the eyes, just we don't want it too white. And then I'm going to bring in my Pebbled Path, and I'm going to color the horns, because remember I said it doesn't matter, we're going to go darker. So we'll go over the horns. And if you're finding the brush is like too juicy for you, you can move to the pen and use that. It has a little bit more control. Just a smaller nib, like that. And then we can do the toes. So again, it's just creating that ability to add layers and detail that you can do with the Stampin' Blend with your Stampin' Write markers. Okay, so this little one is going to become a birthday Triceratops, but I also wanted to show you the background. So I'm going to bring in just a piece of Pretty in Pink and my coordinating ink, and we're going to bring in the Happy Birthday, which is right from the set. And we're just going to stamp across. Doesn't have to be perfect. It can be a little crooked. It can be off the page. It can be staggered. We're just giving a repetitive happy birthday. Now, what did I tell you about the white? I love it. So we're going to bring that in, and with our little soup mix here, we're going to tap it onto the happy birthday. Okay, so we're going to set that aside. So let me show you the finished project when we add a little birthday hat and some glimmer paper, which is from our online exclusives. So it just makes a really sweet little birthday who might really love dinosaurs. So let me show you the projects one more time. We have this one here. We have Roar, means you're the best in dinosaur, with our egg. And then we have the Hope Your Birthday is Dynamite. And if you're thinking to yourself, Lindsay, why don't I have these products? You can head to my online store and shop away. The products are sent right to your store, right to your doorstep. And if you are interested in the paper share, I just have a limited number of spots available. You'll want to go into the pinned post about my paper share and check that out. Don't forget to go to my YouTube channel. You'll see exclusive bonus content that is showing you projects using your paper share. It's really, really fun. Oh, thank you, friends. I really appreciate your feedback, and I love that you tuned in to watch today. Please go ahead and share this video with your friends. If you don't already follow me, you'll want to, and be sure to follow my YouTube channel as well, because like I said, I'm putting some exclusive content out there for you to check out. Have an amazing weekend. Bye for now.